Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Accelerator with Michael Conniff. We're here as a podcast for founders, entrepreneurs, startups, and also the angels, venture capitalists, and people in the financial community, financial offices who follow them. We have also started a new podcast called The Angel, which is more on the financial side of things. So please look for both of those. We're on all the major podcast platforms, Audible, Amazon, and so on. Apple, of course, and we're in the video world with YouTube. And Spotify does both audio and video. So on Spotify for audio as a podcast, or video, or both. So please rate us, rank us, and follow us. We would like that very much. Today, I am happy to be joined by Marek Palys. He is the CEO and founder of Startup House. He is coming to us live from Warsaw, Poland, and we're very happy to have him. Hello, Marek. Nice to welcome you to the podcast. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for bringing me in here.
Uh,
One thing before I start, so I'm not CEO, I'm head of sales and co-founder. So
I don't want to get you in trouble with your CEO. Sorry,
yeah,
I misread my notes, but great to
no
be
worries.
here. And who is the CEO?
Uh, one of my best friends, Alexander Stasiak. So I met him a long time ago, but so I
Okay.
think he's not gonna be mad about me that that you introduced
You
me as
won't
a
you
CEO.
won't
But
take it out on good, good. Well, let's start right from the beginning. Tell us what Startup House does, and why you started it. Why did this happen?
okay, so let me tell you shortly about our roots. Yeah, so everything started like almost 10 years ago. I just quit Groupon. I was head of Groupon Goods here in Poland. Groupon that time was really cool startup to work in. They were growing really fast, etc. And I had a really fast track there. Yeah, like I started as a business care specialist, and after 2 years, I ended as a head of Groupon Goods here in Poland. And once I quit Groupon, I quit because I wanted to do it something on my own.
Mhm.
I was a bit tired with Groupon atmosphere that time. So and this is the moment that I met my co-founder Alex. We were quite young at that moment, yeah, around 26 years old guys, full of energy, and we decided to build our like new venture together. Yeah, it was a small startup focusing on e-commerce solutions, uh, but that was a good start for us. Yeah? And then the second startup was a bit bigger, so it was something similar to Wish, and we spent like around 1 year building that startup. And the first startup, it was a SaaS solution, something like VoIP solution for small businesses,
Like
where we spent around one.
just so we're clear, software as a service, SaaS, and it was
Yeah,
voice over internet protocol. Is that right?
VoIP. Yeah, so it's like
Ah,
voice, like something that you can buy some international phone number and set up your
yeah.
answering machine. Yeah,
And how did that go?
and I think that was the most mature product that we built at that time, comparing to the two previous ones. Um, I think from the technical point of view, it went really well. So at that moment, we already established our product team. We had some developers, designers, etc. However, we didn't do a proper research before, so we had to do a pivot once we built MVP. But it was a good lesson for us. Yeah, so this product was on market around 2 years, and after 2 years, we decided more focus on Startup House. Yeah, so that was the moment that we decided basically establish Startup House.
So you're
And
looking
why we
for
did that?
yeah. Why did you do
Go
that?
ahead,
Why?
Michael.
Well, I was going to ask, what was the pivot that you made in that second business, in the business you described, the SaaS business?
The pivot. Uh, it was like, first of all, at the beginning we were like focusing on like on B2C solution. Yeah. Then we noticed that maybe we should focus more on B2B because it's easier for us and it's better to build, like this solution here in Poland. Yeah. So that was the pivot. Also, this pivot was kindly like forced by investors that they asked us to do that. Yeah. Uh, but on the other side, we've the growth was not as big as we expected. Yeah, so that's why we decided maybe let's try to do something else. And that was the moment that friend of mine that I met in Groupon came to me that he's working in a big company right now, and they are looking someone that will help them build innovation, build some startup in-house this big company. Yeah? And they decided to do it with us because they noticed that this energy, this, and they noticed that this experience that we got, that we gain in previous projects. So that's why we for some time we were doing two things on the same time, like this, building this SaaS solution and also working on startup house. But at some point, once we noticed that we got that once we get some traction, we decided to focus more on startup house. Yeah.
So let me ask, before we get into Startup House, which we will get into in detail, what did you learn and your partner Alex learn from the two startups you've mentioned, the e-commerce and the SaaS startup? What were the most valuable lessons? Because obviously you are a serial entrepreneur, meaning you keep doing one after another, right? So what was it about those first two that you learned that you brought into Startup House?
So first of all, we were not technical co-founders. Yeah, we were more business guys. Yeah, and at the beginning, we thought that maybe we will have a external partner, someone that can build this technical part for us. So we approached a couple of dev shops here in Poland, and none of them was like the perfect fit for us. Yeah, so we decided to like build this, let's say, in-house team. And yeah, it was a hard way for us because we didn't have any experience in software development, so we have to like learn on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
So 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 that's one of the lessons, that you should have maybe technical co-founder at the beginning, or find out like the right external partner. Yeah. Which is probably startups. And the second lesson, it was all about the research. Yeah? So as most of the founders at the beginning, we were quite biased about our idea, so pretty sure that it's going to be successful. And we didn't take into consideration that maybe we should do some research before. Yeah. So probably this is something that I usually recommend most of the founders, that they should have this research skills. Yeah. And the last thing, I think, uh, we had some issues with investor in first two projects. So it's always good to sign some like this co-founder agreement, something that will clarify, expectations. Yeah, because I'm not saying that this guy was bad. I'm just saying that he misunderstood, our expectations. And again, once we think about the investor. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of research, so what research did you do prior to Startup House that led to that business?
Uh, Research, I think, like the idea about Alex, my co-founder, he's really good in researching. Yeah, so he was always like reading this Silicon Valley books, how to build your startup, etc. Like the lean startup is his bible. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so Alex was doing this research, that there is no dev shops on the market that are focusing on startups. Yeah, there are dev shops that's just focusing on like SMEs companies, maybe bigger companies, but
Mhm.
there is no dev shops like targeted only on that is targeting only startups. Yeah, so that
Yeah,
was one thing. And
but
also,
excuse me for interrupting, but dev shop, you mean development shops? You mean development
Yeah,
operations that can actually help you do the startup and do the technology and do all the things you need to do.
software, yeah, mostly.
Software.
Yeah, they just usually once you approach a dev shop, I know, imagine that you have an idea, yeah, and you want to come to them and ask for, could you develop it for me? Then so they will ask for specification, so some list of features, and they will estimate that and do it for you. They will never challenge your idea. They will never tell you how you should, maybe you should do one step back and think about,
Oh, I
this
see.
idea two times, yeah.
So as a
So
partner, you
so
that's something that you do. You do challenge the idea. You do help them refine the idea, it sounds like.
yeah, we want to be like end-to-end place for startups. Yeah, so you come to us and we help you with challenging your idea. So this ideation phase. Once you finish that phase, we help you with this development phase. So how to choose the right technology, how to choose the right I don't know, design, etc. And later on, we help you build your internal team. At some point, you have to build internal team. Yeah, you have to hire some developers. So also, this is something that we help our startups. Yeah.
So you help them. At what stage does a startup come in, come through your door? In other words, do they have an MVP? Do they have anything? Do they have just an idea? Like, what's the typical scenario?
So there are different type. We can help you depending where you are. Yeah. So of course, most of the startups that come to us, they are at the idea stage. So usually they have some vision, maybe some screens, maybe some list of features, yeah, but they don't have any product live, yeah. So this is one type of our clients, yeah. The second client is someone that already they have some MVP on the market, but this MVP is not working well. They are thinking how to improve the value proposition. So usually we help them, we do some product work, we improve their product development roadmap, and then we also help them with this technical part of MVP, improving the MVP part. Yeah, and sometimes the quite mature startups come to us. Yeah, someone with that is they already have a market fit, but they struggle with I don't know with hiring additional people. They struggle with building. They have a huge backlog, and they have to deliver that. So this is the moment that we help them as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you can come in later on. Why focus on startups? What was the thinking behind that decision? Just that nobody was doing it?
It's cool to work with startups, and I think they are usually passionate about their idea. I think we have startup DNA
Hmm.
because I've never worked in in a big company. Yeah, I just work in startups from beginning of my life, yeah, of my career. Yeah, so personally, I believe that this is founders are quite transparent. They usually appreciate if you want to help them. They usually appreciate that you challenge their idea. So that's why we decided to focus on founders. However, sometimes we have like small companies come to us, yeah, not like typical startups, yeah, but they want to work in the startup way. So it's possible, to sometimes you have founders that they are like not like I don't know in 20, 30 years old. They are a bit older, yeah, like 40, 40, 50 years old, yeah, but they want to also build their own idea, yeah. So it's not like but usually where we focus on people that they are not technical co-founders. They want to basically, they are looking for a technical partner that will help them build their idea. Yeah.
And to what extent is your startup house business in Poland and Europe, and to what extent is it other places?
So most of our business right now is in the States. So like more than 60% of our clients are based in the United States. Uh, the second group of our clients are based in Europe, especially in Scandinavia, and we have some clients here in Poland. But mostly we are just based in Poland. We are an international company with global presence. Yeah.
And how many people in the company now?
So we are 100 people company. Our company was established in 2016. So we had a rapid growth since that, doubling our headcount every year. Uh, uh, and most of our people are based in Poland.
And is that full time staff?
Full-time staff, yes.
Wow, that's impressive. And so, how many like at a given moment, how many startups are you working on?
So far we have worked with around 80 startups, uh, but in the current moment we like right now we work with around 20 startups. Yeah, 20.
20 startups. So that's a lot. How do you keep them all straight and not get confused?
We have a like from the operational point of view we are quite good. Yeah, so we have people that are focusing on new business, we have people that are focusing on the keeping our clients happy, we have project management team that is making sure that we deliver the product on time, we have design team that is focusing on design part and so on. Yeah, so we are quite well organized in my opinion. Yeah.
And you are focused on sales as the I think you said the head of sales at the company, Marek.
Yeah.
And what how do you find new customers?
So there, from time to time, we participate some trade shows. Like for example, last year we were at South by Southwest, TechCrunch event, etc. So in the States, of course, most of our business is through our website. So we invest a lot in our, like SEO services, etc. So we are positioned quite well in Google search. Um, and of course referrals are extremely important. Yeah, we like most of our business comes from referrals. Yeah.
Referrals. Okay. And so what so this is like kind of a new paradigm, a new example of how to have a startup. So you have all kinds of different founders at all different kinds of phases come to work with you, right? And I assume like across all kinds of different industries, right? You're not limited in terms of what you do. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you can do just about anything. What do you think? So as somebody who deals with all these different startups and all these different founders, what do you think are the most important things, reasons for success among the founders you work with?
That's a really good question. To be honest, yeah, I have seen um, many founders, and first of all I think uh, I usually say that that our founders, they have to be focused. Yeah, so they have to kind of at some point invest their time, work full time on their idea. Yeah, so it's not possible to do three things on one time. Yeah, so you have to invest your time and be focused. Yeah. The second thing, I think you have to, not so many people, you kind of the part of the deal, the part of the building the startup is quite risk of failure. Yeah, because in my opinion there is a quite big chance that you will fail and you have to kind of anticipate that, accept that, and I have seen some founders that they struggle with that. Yeah, they couldn't accept the fact that they might fail. Yeah, it was too stressful for them. Yeah, so this well-being, etc., it's quite important. Yeah. Of course you have to be super open-minded. Yeah, so of course at some point you have to be like, you have to have some vision, goals, etc. But what once someone is giving you a feedback, challenging your idea, then you should be open for that feedback. Yeah, otherwise, because most of the founders, they are super biased. Yeah, then they quite afraid to talk with their users because to receive a bad feedback. Yeah.
Oh, is that
uh,
right? They don't want to talk to users. That's
they
that's
don't
a
want to talk.
problem.
They want to postpone that as long as possible.
When really, don't you think they should do that as soon as possible?
Yeah, that's usually we recommend, and so we in
Yeah.
our approach, we always tell them that before you start any line of coding, you should have a prototype and do some user interviews. Yeah.
And what do they say to that? They probably don't want to do that.
Uh, I think we have like a process where we just show them the value of doing that. Examples, that, and usually it's, we explain them that you can save some money if you do that and time.
Yeah.
So that's the best argument.
That's the motivation. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Um, what is, tell us about some of the projects you've worked on. Like, what have been some of the ones that you are most proud of and that have worked the best?
Sure. So I think, let me share one project that we've been working with them since 2020. It's a company based in Norway. It's a global product, yeah, and they address carbon
Sorry,
footprint problem. Yeah,
what kind of product? Pardon me. What kind of product is it?
it's a global product, so they work. Okay, they
Global.
are based in Norway, but they work globally. Yeah, and basically what they do, they address carbon footprint problems. So, for example, their clients are like British Airways, Booking.com, Heathrow. So, once you use British Airways and you want to check what kind of carbon footprint you will have it, then you are using solution that we built for them. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
uh, and they joined our tribe, like, I think, at the, let's say, they already have an MVP. Yeah, so they have some product market fit. They got their first proper round, and they wanted to speed up with the development and design work, etc. Yeah. So this is what we did for them. And recently they have a pretty rapid growth, and they got, they are in the Series B stage right now, and they closed the round, lead by Gen Zero VC, which is, for example, Ashton Kutcher is involved in that VC. So we are super proud of that product. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a big product. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also do some smaller projects which are also, super interesting, and we are super proud of it. So, for example, recently we built a startup which is called Lily. So it's an innovating high impact app designed to connect users with selected non-governmental organizations like NGOs. Yeah. And basically what you can do in this app, you can track each of your, let's say, submissions. Yeah, like, everything that you spend on these NGOs. Yeah. So this is, maybe the business behind of this is not big, but it's quite impactful solution, which I'm super proud of it, and it's run right now. It's quite popular on App Store. Yeah. So small one. Yeah.
And what happens?
And
I
I
hate
think
to
the
do.
last,
Go ahead.
go ahead,
No,
Michael. Yeah, go
you
ahead.
said what is the last one?
And the last one, I think, this is like a company that came to us at the idea stage. I can share the name because of the NDA, but I can tell that basically it's like cyber security solution for big organization that they can quickly check their risk of not doing, this proper things from security point of view. And they joined us at the idea stage. Now they are in the Series B stage, with a positive revenue. So we are super proud of that product as well. Yeah.
So you've got a couple of companies at least that have managed to get to Series B, which is significant.
We don't have any unicorn right now, but maybe next 2 years one of them might be.
Yeah, that's great. And okay, so I hate to ask you this, but what give me an example of what can go wrong, like within a company. So they come to you, you can probably see problems early, I would guess. You could probably see, maybe the founder doesn't listen, maybe they don't talk to customers, whatever it is. What do the failures have in common?
Mm, so usually they kind of initiate interaction with potential investors too late
Too
because it
late.
takes time. Too late because it takes time to get a proper round. And they get lose their motivation. Yeah, because have you ever heard about the salami methodology?
No.
It's like it's not possible to cut salami in the middle. Yeah, so
Oh,
you have
salami.
to
We
slice
call
by
this,
slice,
yeah, we call this slicing the salami in the U.S. It's
slicing
called
the
slicing
salami.
the
Yeah, and
salami.
I think it's in case of startups, it's like super important that you kind of because they lose motivations. Yeah, they have to achieve small achievements step by step. Yeah, and sometimes they lose the motivation. Sometimes they kind of mm, so this is one issue. So they initiate the contact with potential investors too late. Yeah, and then they kind of they don't have enough money to continue working on that product, and then they abandon. They usually close the project. Yeah. The
What is your,
second issue.
yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
go
The
ahead.
second, forgive me for interrupting. Go
The
ahead. The
second
second.
issue that I see is like sometimes they initiate investors too fast. Yeah, so they kind of get this evaluation too high, and then it's hard to catch up for them. Yeah, so you see that
Yeah.
you have to kind of balance with your approach. Usually, from my perspective, is the most important is that they have like they talk with clients, they talk with users, they have some market fit, and then they move on with that. Yeah.
And what about Startup House? Do you have direct relationships with VCs, with investors, family offices? Do they come to? I would think there'd be a lot of interest in what you're doing, and that there would be investors who would try to keep track of who you're working with. Does that happen?
We have some network of potential investors. Yeah. uh, and some from time to time we introduce our clients to them.
Uh huh.
But this is something that we want to improve in coming years. So build some more partnerships with VCs around the world and make sure that we can help our founders here because we don't do the this investment part on our end, but we should connect and have this place that kind of we where they can connect with investors here.
And is it contract basis only, or do you ever take a stake, an equity stake in a company?
And it's contract basis. Yeah, we don't ever take this equity. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, I want to remind everyone you've been listening to the Accelerator with Michael Conniff. Our companion podcast, brand new, is the Angel. Look for all of them on all the major platforms. That includes Apple, Amazon, Audible, and about 10 others. Plus, you can find us on YouTube video and also both audio and video on Spotify. So please rate us, rank us, subscribe to us, and keep an eye on us and share us. That's the other thing we'd love you to do. I am Michael Conniff. You can look for more about me at michaelconniff.com, michaelconniff.com. You can also find more information. I've got a pretty detailed LinkedIn biography, which I urge you to take a look at and connect with me on LinkedIn. We've had a very interesting conversation with Marek Palys. He's the co-founder and head of sales. I got it right this time, Marek, at Startup
Thank you, Michael.
House, based in Warsaw, Poland. But very impressive. Over 100 people working full time. 60% of the projects are in the U.S. A big presence in the Scandinavian countries, in addition to a presence in Warsaw. So it's really been interesting. I'm so happy you could come on the show, and thanks for being with us today, Marek.
Thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. And remember that you can keep up with us on all of those platforms, also on Substack. I should have mentioned that. And keep a lookout for us because we'll be back with another podcast before you know it.